subject to talk about. Racism.
Oh, yeah.
Not controversial at all.
No. It's 2019. We're way above that.
Yeah.
Especially with our current president.
Welcome to Nerds in the Dark. I'm Mikey.
I'm Darnel. How are you doing?
And we're going to talk about whether or not people of color should be in roles that are classically played or traditionally played by white actors.
Yes.
It's an interesting subject. Now, we got on this subject privately as we were talking, as we regularly do, about different nerd shit. And Robert Pattinson recently was announced as being rumored to take the role of Batman. He's now officially Batman. And the option came up in a conversation that why not someone that was a person of color have that role? And specifically, the actor who plays Glenn played Glenn on Walking Dead was brought up as an idea to play a Asian Batman. And we kind of discussed that back and forth, and we found that we agree a little bit, but also disagree on how these roles should be treated. And so, brings us to our title card. Should people of color play roles that are traditionally white?
Yeah. I'm a little touchy on that. Do you want to talk first or you want me to talk first?
You know what? You can go ahead.
Alright. So, my thing is, I always find it pandering if a person of color plays a white role. But not just because it's a person of color playing a white role, but because, speaking on context of nerd culture of like movies and comic books and anime, there's a plethora of fucking people of color roles that we can like, hey, put this person here and just give them money and make a movie and have that person do that role.
We're more than just Static and Blade.
Man, because y'all make me feel sad because when I go to cosplay conventions, that's pretty much all you see for a black person. It's Static, Blade, currently Black Panther, and then followed by Storm. Yeah. I'm like, we have more than 4 people. Yeah. But like, y'all need to branch out. But I'm not talking about just black people. Talking about like we have like Latin American, Hispanics, fucking Asians. There's more people, and it just like feels weird that y'all fight so hard for a white person to be like, you know what? Hey, let's put this person of color in this white person role, and it's like, yo, these roles here exist.
Yeah, I kind of feel that as a person of color myself, I don't want more people to take roles away and give them to people of color. I want people of color to have roles. And I think that putting someone in the role just to say, oh, well, now we have a black Captain America, you're doing that for the headline as opposed to actually building that for the character. Not to say that Sam Wilson wasn't a good Captain America. He was fantastic in that role.
Yeah, I felt him.
Yeah. But having someone play a non-traditional role just for the headline, you know, when everyone was talking about Idris Elba being possible James Bond, you know, 007 can be anybody, and 007 can be black. But are you picking Idris Elba because he would be amazing in that role, or would you cast Idris Elba for the headline and controversy? Or would you not cast him for the headline and controversy? It kind of cuts both ways on that too. You know, not giving somebody a role just because they are a certain color, even though like if you interviewed everybody and you had like somebody come in and there was like a black Daniel Craig or a Mexican Daniel Craig, and they came out and like they did the role and they did everything perfectly. Like, you know what? I'm feeling this, but you're not white enough.
Yeah.
I would be upset about hearing that.
Yeah.
But like, give us a great Latino spy movie. Don't give me Latino 007.
I would love that.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the only Latino spy movie we have now is Spy Kids.
Yeah. And granted, technically, Machete fucking transferred from Machete to also Spy Kids. Like, that's also, it's also a joke.
Yeah.
Like, give me, like, a semi-serious fucking concept. Not like we just did it for fucking shits and giggles.
Exactly. And I think that we need to get more roles that are serious. On the other side of that coin, I can also see and understand the argument for other heroes being anybody. For example, Spider-Man. Spider-Man can absolutely be someone of color. It's not integral to the story. He is not a traditionally white character. Peter Parker is a kid, a smart kid from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Or Queens.
Queens.
He's a smart kid from Queens. God, I'm losing Spider-Man cred.
But, like, isn't, whatchamacallit, Miles Morales technically from the Bronx, not just specific
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Miles Morales is an example of how anyone can be Spider-Man, and he is a great Spider-Man. However, it's also the answer of, like, how do we get someone else in that role? We don't. We get someone else. Like, you can't have a black Latino Spider-Man. You can't have a black Latino Peter Parker, but you can have a black Latino Spider-Man if he's someone else. And it's just like, okay, well, that's a way to give us something and rob us at the same time.
Yep.
And it seems counterintuitive. At first glance, you might hear this argument and say, well, Mikey, aren't you saying the opposite thing when you said you want new roles, but you also want somebody to be Spider-Man that's not that color? It's like, no, I'm saying that you can have people in that role. I already said that Sam Wilson was a great Captain America. That was great for his story. But Captain America wasn't made black for the headline. Captain America, like, Sam Wilson became the new Captain America, and that was great. You had an answer where somebody died, and then someone took that role, and you gave it to someone who you felt was qualified, having been there forever. When you have Miles Morales created, you have Peter Parker die, and you have someone step up and take that role, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Miles Morales was nobody before this. No one knew him. No one knew his name. He's just some other random kid that got bitten by a spider.
Yeah. So, same history, but, also, hey.
Same, but different, but still the same. It's just a way to give us something without giving in to haters. And that's, I feel that's pandering.
Yeah.
Now, we did talk about... We got to this conversation because we were talking about the Batman role.
Yes.
And that Batman role, you disagreed with me on my thoughts on this. Share your thoughts on that part.
Oh, the pandering part?
No, on the Bruce Wayne part.
Oh, that, I don't think that any person of color can be Bruce Wayne at all, and that it can, it's just legit, pandering if you put a person of color in that role, and it's just weird, and it shouldn't exist.
Yeah. So my thought on this, on anyone playing Bruce Wayne that wasn't white, wasn't necessarily that not that anyone couldn't be Batman, because anyone can dress up in a cowl and fight crime. That's not part of it. Yeah. Now, what makes Batman unique is his alter ego of Bruce Wayne, and where I think that he specifically would get into trouble is that if you put anyone else in the role, talking from a social dynamic perspective, you put anyone else in the role of Bruce Wayne and do what Bruce Wayne does. He shows up late to board meetings. He's a CEO that's never around and is actually embezzling money from his company.
Regularly drunk and partying.
The whole Playboy routine. You put all of those things together and you put a person of color in that role, and it doesn't work because a white person could technically get away with that.
Especially sorry, cut you off. But especially considering the dynamic of their job description of being like, medical / industry pioneer. Like, there's certain roles, like, yeah, where playboyness of people of color exists, rappers,
Right.
and a few other things, but like not in that realm.
Right.
It just doesn't fit.
I agree, and I think that not just that. It's just anytime that a person of color steps into the limelight in one way or another, you become the representative of your race, of your color, of your people. And once you do that, and you start performing negatively, that speaks volumes. I think that having anyone else be in that role and just say, okay, well, let's say if we did, a rich Asian to play Bruce Wayne and say, okay, well, is this how Asians act when they have money? And it's like, does what you portray do more harm than good? And when you look at that, you have to examine it from that lens. I would say that one example we have is that when you look at Bruce Wayne, you don't look at Bruce Wayne and say, here's what all white people are like. You look at Bruce Wayne and you say, this is what Bruce Wayne does. This is a white person has the privilege to be themselves.
True.
What they do is representative of them and them only. When you have a person of color do something, they are representing people of color.
Yeah. Sad truth, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles for the foreseeable future.
Right.
But that's also what I like talking about. My one friend, we talked about it, had a discussion about having how there is a Asian Superman, and that would actually play really well, especially on TV, as if they incorporated the Asian version of Superman and the traditional version of Superman, and just put them together, where he just crash lands in somewhere in Asia, lives off small town, grows up, turns to be, becomes decides what, I'm a reporter in America, and comes to this thing and saves the fucking day. It all still fits, so it doesn't take anything away from the story, but you also have a person of color, really portraying that role significantly. And I really like the aspect of an Asian person being Superman, because some people can identify as him, and there's already a baseline of that character existing.
For sure.
And it even plays into the role, especially with American culture, because Americans just maybe the stereotype of an Asian person is just being meek and not just super outspoken. So his Clark Kent persona just was okay, cool. He's just a news reporter. He just turns into the story. He's just really good at writing. Nobody gives him a second glance that this is the dude who just saved a busload of fucking people from a burning building. Nobody's gonna pay attention to him. Those aren't the same person. They're just gonna overlook him, and it plays into the stereotype, but also shows that, hey, we're more than the stereotype at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of ways that you could do things and do them right. I think one of the problems that we run into is that, so it's very hard to appease everybody. That's for sure. We started this conversation saying hey, what's not controversial? But it's very interesting to have an idea of ways that we can implement this. First and foremost, there are the roles exist. Hollywood needs to cast them.
Yes.
Second is that if you did want somebody to be in that role, find a way for them to be in that role that not only fits the character but fits why. There was something that I read that said the second a good deed becomes a selfish act the second you pull out a camera.
Yeah.
And I think that can easily translate into this is that casting a role specifically to appease one person or another or to appease one group or another, casting that role and making those headlines immediately takes away from doing any of that.
Yep. And like, as you're talking, I like popped up like random characters that I'm like, I would love to see that are people of color who aren't black. It's like, granted, like, yeah, cool. I have Black Panther, and I loved it, and like loved it, even though both aspects of Killmonger and Black Panther and fucking Shuri, who's like, you know, we got like fucking 3 aspects of positive fucking black people, or like, well, prominent black people who are like, you know, like not just fitting a stereotype, but like Blue Beetle, Vibe, and
Well, we have Vibe.
Yes, we have Vibe on the fucking TV.
We have Vibe. He's on the CW.
And Green Lantern, and like those 3 people, I would like well, because I was like speaking like how like DC.
You talking about Kyle Rayner?
Kyle Rayner's the black guy.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah.
Yeah.
The black Green Lantern, because you know.
He's got a name.
Yeah, like we you know who we're talking about, but how like they have like prominent roles, and like we've only seen really them other than Vibe on the fucking cartoon / animated fucking series.
Yeah,
I would like to see them in more roles, but also like not cartoony, because like they have like some dope backstories that can be like dropped into, and same thing with I wish Suicide Squad was better. What?
There was a Latino in Suicide Squad.
No, there was. Not even like not the Latinos. There was multiple people of color in Suicide Squad. Because,
that's true.
Killer Croc is played by a black man, and like they don't like.
Then you have Deadshot played by Will Smith, and then you have
the Samurai Sword.
Yeah.
And like, but they like. Samurai Sword doesn't even get a lot of fucking like. Yeah, we're sorry for like not remembering their names right now. For not doesn't get a lot of fucking screen time or really backstory. Killer Croc kind of gets a shitty fucking like stereotype thing that like most of his words are like very stereotypical of a black person. I'm like, that just feels like you just shoehorn some stereotypes into his fucking thing.
Yo, that feels like the black monster trope, right? Yeah. So don't even get me started on that shit.
Yeah, like that's in a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Like, and Deadshot was cool, but also I felt like they spent too much time on him, and didn't give a plethora of all the other characters. And like they have like the one Native American character who immediately dies like within like 5 minutes of fucking screen time. Yeah. So like, how many like Native American characters do we have? I know we have like Native American characters and Aboriginal character and Aboriginal fucking superheroes, and it's like, man, we have all of these characters that we can use
for real.
But yeah, y'all like going for playing it safe.
Yeah, give us them roles. Give us them roles, please. Please.
Please, we're dying. Figurative and literary.
Cast us. Cast us, please. I want to see. You know what? Here's the thing. I want Latino Marvel characters. Okay, like please, MCU, do me a solid. I'm tired of hearing that Latinos got coverage because we got Blue Beetle. Because Blue Beetle's DC. Give me something, and don't tell me Ghost Rider.
Shit. Yeah, like y'all you gave him the MCU, like the TV series, but like they're
put him on a TV show that like feels like it's the redheaded stepchild of the Marvel universe. It's just like, we're affected by everything that happens in the MCU, but we're not allowed in the MCU. We have Coulson, so that's our physical connection.
But also, like, spoiler alert. They don't even acknowledge the fucking snap. So, like, give us in the fucking, like, you know, hey, we got some black people in there. We need some fucking, you know, some people of color, like some other people of color, other than just a black man. We need some, you know, Latinos, some Asians,
And don't you start talking about Yo-Yo and say Yo-Yo's enough.
No.
Give us more than.
We need it in the MCU, not just a TV series.
I don't want one.
We need blockbuster.
I don't want two. Okay, I want at least 3.
We don't need it just for the TV series. We need it on big screen. We need an Asian who's clearly identified as that's an Asian.
Yes.
Like, that's what my problem with Killer Croc is. Oh, yeah, cool. Killer Croc's black, but also you don't know he's black. But also, then when you look at the subcontext of it, like you got the dude who everybody else knows that he's black, but like you got him saying some ignorant, like stereotypical black stuff.
Yes.
Like,
give us a role that doesn't have an accent. Like, give us that.
Unless it's from their accent, you know.
Yeah.
Aboriginal has an accent. Cool. Well, I want an actual Aboriginal person playing an Aboriginal fucking comic book character.
Like, give me a Latino that doesn't sound like this, eh?
Yeah, I don't need Cheech and Chong with superpowers.
Like, oh my god, man. Hey,
do better.
Do better.
Like a person I follow on Twitter says, do better.
Thank you for watching Nerds in the Dark. Please don't unfollow us.
Please follow us and tell us what you want to know about, like what else we should talk about.
Comment, and subscribe. Best episode ever. Didn't piss anyone off.
Oh, we made some people mad, but check yourself. Check your privilege.
We'll be back. Hey everybody. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you like what you see, please let us know somewhere on the internet. If you'd like to keep up to date with Nerds in the Dark content, please subscribe. If you want to watch more videos, please click or tap on the left. If you'd like to see one of our more recent videos, click or tap the video on the right. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time on Nerds in the Dark.